Hello, builders. My name is G. Welcome back to week 2 of me building in public. I think that it's been an incredible outreach of support that I've received from a bunch of different people. I really hope that one day this will inspire and motivate more and more people to go out and build, understand that being a founder is a hard journey, but it's a rewarding one, and especially because you get to see me skin my knees, break my ankles, so that you know what you're not supposed to do. So we got a lot of things to go through this week, and a lot of things to look forward to into the future. So let's jump right into it. So just kind of going through, like, last week, if you want to look through, like, here, me discuss about all the different projects that I'm working on, what the status of them are, each of them individually. I'm just going to talk about the changes that were from week to week, but obviously, you know, for the most part, waitlist and user count, money, none of that's really changed because I'm kind of in development mode right now. The most important thing to talk about is PokeFounder University. The basic MVP for that has essentially been finished. Just need to create a lot of the curriculum related stuff to actually go forward with testing. I also think that some of the formats of some of the quizzes and tests, which you will see because I'll be releasing more and more kind of teaser demos of different features within it, both to kind of see things from a design perspective, but also the usability of the applications and whatnot. You know, I'll be releasing more content about that, but to just kind of look at, you know, going forward, PokeFounder University is basically in a good spot. I'll be deploying that probably this weekend at some point, so this URL will actually be live as opposed to crossed out. And going into the next week and into probably the month of August, the focus will probably be on draft stonks. And I think that that's going to be a really interesting product for me to work on. Fantasy football, but for the stock market. So being able to bring together a bunch of your friends to basically go through like a 7-round draft of different stocks to build your portfolio and then, you know, judge them off of each other. I think that would be a really fun way to actually learn and grow as a fund person. You know, sometimes there are certain opportunities that come and go in certain situations. You're not going to be able to invest into everything at any certain particular time because of the timing within the market. And I know that some people say, like, don't time the market or et cetera, et cetera. Well, we'll see if that's a thing that, you know, actually results in the long tail. I know that there's certain research that goes in either direction, but who knows? Might be some cracked fantasy stonk drafters who will be able to showcase, you know, maybe timing the market. There's something there, especially within each of the individual drafts, and, you know, trades and all that other good stuff. So we'll be spending a lot of time dribbling down and working on draft stonks. Right now, what's in draft stonks is kind of a personal finance app, funnily enough, because I'm using it as kind of a base to test out a bunch of different features, such as like a crap, I already forgot the name of it, but it's basically like the little ticker thing along the top, or, you know, sometimes in the news you'll see a little bottom piece where it like lists a bunch of the news items, but, you know, relevant to stocks, it would be good to have like all of the stock tickers going across the top with some names. Something to think about, like, the market providers, you know, it costs a lot of money, and I want to figure out a way to do it in a kind of lean fashion, right? I don't want to spend a lot of money to validate an idea. So, sure, I could potentially, like, go through and create, like, really complex system to scrape market data, or just, you know, bite the bullet and pay for it, or come up with a scrappier option, which might actually work to my benefit, in that I might want to create a bunch of fake companies and a bunch of fake, like, stock prices and stock changes, and maybe it'll be random, like, based off of a bunch of different things, and, you know, like, just like using the random number generator to kind of generate movements in the market up and down, right, to simulate, like, 30 days of market data so that someone could look at it and then make their choices based off of that in their, you know, 7-round draft. And I think it'd be really interesting to be able to, you know, just because some people might know certain stock tickers going into drafting, totally cool. But assuming that people don't, right? Or, as you go down in the rounds, the information about certain companies maybe not as readily available, or something you're just not familiar with, right? Like your familiarity with something at the bottom of the S&P 500. Let's just pull out a random name like Waste Management, for example. I think that's in the S&P 500, or Exxon, which was just recently added at the time of this recording, and I think there were some others who were rotated in between then, but I know that Exxon was like within this year or the last year was a new addition to the S&P 500. Like, you probably know less about that compared to Microsoft or Nvidia. So, by constraining it to companies that are fake and you don't know anything about, or you need to learn about their products and this and that, kind of simulates how easily people are able to digest that information from the interface that I'm creating. So it's kind of a double play. One, that I'm saving money, but also two, kind of forcing myself to create an interface, a user interface and design that helps for someone to digest information really quickly about a stock ticker, especially one that, like some people are really into it. They know the Mag 7, like the top of their hand, back of their hand, and, they know all the different, like, major stocks. But then, when you get to the lower parts of the portfolio and you're trying to diversify and, all that type of stuff, make that choice, right? And honestly, like, we're not talking about like creating a 50 stock portfolio, right? 7 rounds, so that's like 7 stocks. That's probably typical for most hedge funds and what they got in their portfolios, right? Just from what I've been able to research and see, right? So I think that would be a really interesting way to both be a forcing function in terms of me designing stuff and for me to develop stuff. So going into the next week, a lot of development, a lot of design work. So I might add in something that's beyond the Excel sheet. I need to really think about this, which is why these poke apps are really good, because Excel gets you this far, but when it actually comes to development, KPIs aren't exactly the way to track development, right? You've got the agile process, which unfortunately sticking in an Excel isn't the best. Notion isn't really a good option, and Trello isn't a really Trello is probably the best option, but to incorporate Trello with an Excel sheet, not the best. So honestly, this is probably what poke work might be, and I might get too frustrated trying to track down, like, me trying to be as accountable and disciplined for myself. I might actually create this tool, because I already have a template that I've used based off of like a web tutorial or a YouTube tutorial, that I actually have the base of Trello already built out. And funnily enough, that was PokeChops. Yep, PokeChops is the base of the Trello, because if we go to this and then we log in, we'll just sign in with my accounts. Yeah, so the sample campaign board. So see, I already have the basis of Trello here. So to do the Kanban board related stuff, like, I have it already. So I could, funnily enough, they're all like for different apps, right? So PokeChops needs to be like incorporated into PokeWork, but PokeChops, like, this Trello thing is actually really cool, I think, for marketing teams to be able to use. I'm just trying to like learn more and be receptive and listen to more marketing people as related to this. So there might be a double play here, like 2 products able to like work in different areas. So there's that. Poke Pitch. Funnily enough, there's a YouTube tutorial that I'm gonna probably think about like working on, which was a Canva clone tutorial. So me taking elements from Canva, but also there was this tutorial about Miro. So me being able to take the best pieces out of Miro and the best pieces out of Canva will probably help me to create an app that's like the best intersection of both worlds. So that's basically the roundup for this week. Maybe I'll be able to create some form of Trello-like thing so that I could actually show all of the different tasks and that type of stuff. Because KPIs, yeah, that's when I'm actually going to be like releasing it. So I could think about like starting a wait list to get people to sign up to be a part of the tester draft stocks, but we'll see. We'll think about it. I don't want to start the waitlist too early and then not have a way to do it. I also want to start a podcast in that space because I've been getting on that. I actually need to release some of the podcasts that I have been recording with friends, but actively going to be recruiting someone who might be interested in kind of talking about stocks, but in the flavor of fantasy draft, like how people will talk about football players for fantasy draft and predictions and all that type of stuff. It's just the kind of comparable and would be a great piece of content and marketing channel for me to build in the first place so that I'm not spearfishing to kind of grab people for the wait list. I have like a way to like capture a bunch of people. Dual play, right? It's always important. So that's the update for week 2 development. Poke Founder University is in a good place. Going to be starting to build some lessons, start some testing there, and then we're really pivoting over to Draft Stonks and working on that particular experience, which honestly, Poke's Draft Stonks out of all of these different apps is probably the most like traditional startup, right? But all of these are projects that we'll see if I promote it into full businesses. And July is really coming to an end. It's coming soon, right? There's only 4 days left. So honestly, these might all be zeros. And it'd be a good way to like show it for the people. Like it'll probably be, honestly, like other than user count, maybe. But like the MRR, ARR, who knows if I turn on like payments or if people convert or not. We'll see. We'll see. August, long month, 30 days. We'll see. Cool. Or 31 days, sorry. Extra day for me to convert more people. So I'm super excited to get to work. Thank you so much for coming to the end of this update. And just remember, if G can build, so can you. Let's go out there and build great products. Thanks for watching.